In this video, we're going to learn how to evaluate exponents and logarithms. Okay, we'll learn how to evaluate them. So let's look first at evaluate each exponential. So we have 25 to the 1/2 power. Now, if you remember your rules of exponents and rational exponents, this means that we're taking the square root of 25. This 2 is your index, and the 1 is your exponent. That's something that you learned in Math 2, or you should have learned in Math 2. So then if we take the square root of 25, the square root of 25 is 5, and that would be our answer. Okay, 2 to the 4th. Hopefully you remember how to do that. That means you're going 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that's 4, 8, and 16. So 2 to the 4th would be 16. Okay, 9 equals 3 to the y. So what is this y here in order to make this statement true? What exponent can I put in the place of y so that 3 to that exponent is equal to 9? Well, 3 times 3 equals 9. So since I wrote 3 down twice, that means my y is going to be equal to 2. Okay, you do example L over here and pause the video and see what you come up with. Okay, hopefully you wrote down 2 times 2, that's 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And that's what I needed to get was 16. So I wrote 2 down 4 times. That means my y is equal to 4. Okay, now let's evaluate these logarithms. Okay, in order to evaluate these, we've got to remember what this means. So I want to know what this equals. That's what I'm trying to find. What that means is this is my base, 3 raised to whatever I'm looking for, so we'll call that y. 3 raised to the y power has to equal 27. Well, let's think about that. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 gives me 27. So I wrote the number 3 down 3 times, so that means my y here is equal to 3. Okay, for n, log base 5 of 125, remember, I'm looking what I'm equal to here. So that means this base 5 raised to whatever I'm looking for, we'll call it y, has to equal this number 125. Okay, so 5 times 5 is 25, and then 25 times 5 gives me 125. So how many times did I write down the number 5? I wrote it down 3 times. That means my y is equal to 3 here. Now, it's not always 3. Okay, log of 100. Now, some of you might be thinking there's no base here. But remember, in our previous video, we said, and I'm going to go back up here, if b is not given to you, it is assumed to be 10, which is what we call the common log. So down here, what this means is that my base is 10 here. So that's a base of 10. So that means 10, looking for what this is, 10 raised to some power equals 100. So I'm looking for that y. All right, let's start with 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So I wrote the number 10 down twice, which means that y is going to be equal to 2. Okay, pause the video and see what you can do with P out here, example P, and then come back. Okay, we have log base 2 of 64. So that means 2, we're equal to y because that's what we're looking for. 2 raised to the y power has to equal 64. All right, let's see what we get. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, times 2 is 64. So how many times did I write the number 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So that means my y here is equal to 6. All right, guys, if you have any trouble with any of these, please send me an email, let me know so that we can discuss further.